We're good? All right. We'd like to thank you guys and welcome to our press conference for the Rod Pedersen Show. For those of you that are watching too on Facebook Live, thanks, wherever you might be watching, I think around the world, which is kind of exciting. If you don't know me, my name is Darren DuPont. I've been on the sports scene in Saskatchewan now for a little while, but I'm also the president of DuPont Media, and that's the reason we're here, to announce the show, the Rod Pedersen Show with Rod Pedersen, and very excited to be able to announce that today. I know there's been a lot of buzz. We've been teasing it for the last couple of weeks, and maybe even longer, but it's really exciting that we're here now, able to announce this show to the world. For me, it's been maybe a year in the making. I remember when I started coming into Rod's old show on a regular basis in studio, I think I was bugging you about it then, that, hey, you needed to be here doing this. And then when he decided to leave the radio station in January, then it really started happening. So it's been a long time coming to get to this point, lots of hard work, but we're really excited to announce the Rod Pedersen Show. And what is it? Well, it's really exciting. It's a 2-hour live sports talk and entertainment show every single day, 5 days a week from 10 a.m. to noon in Saskatchewan out of our brand new state-of-the-art studios in Regina, which we're really excited to be partnering with our production partners at IKS Media and Technologies and Paul Druin and his team. They've helped us create a great space. We have an unbelievable team of designers and editors and from everybody in the back end. You're going to be really blown away by this show, I really think. So that's super exciting. As you can see now, we're on Facebook Live. The show will live there every day, 5 days a week. We'll also live at the website, at Rod's website, rodpedersen.com, which, over the last, number of years has become the leading source of information on sports in this province, and really one of the leading sources in the country with his, tens of thousands of views every day. And the rest of the power of social media in this new world. I think what's really exciting is that we're going to really trailblaze into digital media, into new media, with a trusted source that the viewers have come to know and love, and that's Rod. So that's very, very exciting for me to be able to be a part of it and to be able to announce this today. I know our producer's already been busy lining up, a star-studded lineup of guests from, in Regina and across North America that you'll see in the first week. That's just the first week of the show, so it's very cool. And if there's, I guess, any confusion, it's video, it's audio, it's the real deal.
That's why I'm hoping you guys ask some questions today. Like, for instance, some of the reporters already asked what it is. I understand that the sports fans don't necessarily know what it is, because up until a couple weeks ago, we didn't really know what it was, truthfully. Because it's been unfolding on a daily basis. Darren covered the high points. Facebook Live, 2 hours a day, 10 a.m. to noon. It will be video streaming, but if you're in a tractor cab or you're driving, you don't want to chew up your data, there's an audio feed that you can listen to in your headphones every day. We, over the last 5 months, now I won't get into this now, but a lot of things have happened in the last 5 months, one of which was investigating starting an all-sports radio station. And it kind of got to a point where if we were going to go that far to do that, start a radio station, everything's going digital anyways, we might as well just jump into the digital pool now. And that's where we're at. And Paul, honestly, he's a very humble guy, didn't want to speak today at IKS. He wanted to leave it to us. I'm just humbled by the fact that Paul thinks this would work. Darren's right. They came to me saying, do you think this would work? Would you give it a try? And that's why we're sitting here today, because I think it will. It's not going to be some guy, me, in his basement with his iPhone flipped backwards, talking sports every day. It's a multi-camera production, right? And Darren talked about some of the guests that are going to come on next week. Gary Lawless of the Golden Knights, as soon as this was announced, is like, I want to be on the first show. I want to come on and talk about the NHL. I want to come on and talk about the CFL, and I can say whatever I want about the CFL now because I'm not affiliated with it anymore. So Gary Lawless is going to be our very first guest. Chris Getzlaff, I know Colby Armstrong from Sportsnet. I know that, Clark's over there reached out to a lot of guys to come on the program next week. So it's not even necessarily going to be 3 or 4 guys sitting around a table, although that's kind of what I want it to be, because I've always thought that The View, I watch The View because there's nothing else on, and I don't even like The View. I think that if there was a View for guys, I would watch that, because what this country's missing is a mid-morning roundtable coffee show to talk about the hit in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup last night, or the fact that Zach Collaros isn't going to play Friday night. You know, there's a huge void in this country for that. And I've heard, you know, he talked about my blog starting in '06. Nobody was blogging about the CFL in 2006. Nobody was. There's millions of underserved sports fans in this country, and 26 million hits later, that's what my site's doing. I just see this as the new stratosphere of, you know, the next level of that. And he's not here today, but Cliff Mapes is working with us on sponsorships and partnerships, and I think Cliff is one of the best sports marketing people in Western Canada, if not the country. Cliffy is handling all that, and we have some sponsors here today in the back of the room that I want to acknowledge and thank them for coming, and maybe you can mention that. But if you think a view for guys, that's kind of what we're shooting for. Kelly, you got a question? Kelly, go ahead. Yeah. The question is national talk versus local talk. For one, the local talk's underserved. So the one beautiful thing about digital media, we've done enough of it, is that we can see who's watching, we can interact with who's watching. So if they want to talk about, like, when I broke the story about Ken Holland going to be the next GM of the Oilers, it really annoyed me that people were saying, oh, the football guy got the scoop on the NHL story. And I'm like, I'm a hockey guy first. And people tend to forget that. So the point is, we're going to talk about whatever people want to talk about because they're interactive with us. So to sit here today, I think what the exciting thing is, we're launching Monday. We're going to see where it goes. And one thing that I wanted to mention, too, is that I watch, almost every NFL team is doing this, whether it be Twitter or Facebook Live. Some NHL teams, the Raptors, are doing a post-game digital media show. That's kind of what we're doing here. I think that if it's going to work for them, who's not going to want to see guys sit around and talk about the Rough Riders for 2 hours every morning? That's probably what we're going to do. And when you bring in guys like Hobson and Chris Getzlaff and my friends to have those discussions, I think that's, you know, going to appeal to some people.
It's interesting that you asked about national versus local. For me, and you know, from a business standpoint in DuPont Media, it's rare that you know, people like Rod, they don't come around that often, where they've got the package, where they've got the presence, but they've also got the ability to deliver that show for 2 hours a day. And he's built such a connection in this community, and in Saskatchewan for the last 30 years in the industry, but it's beyond that. He's got the ability to stretch beyond the borders, and we've already seen that with the Ken Holland scoop and the Dave Tippett news, and, you know, reaching out into the Edmonton media and beyond. I mean, he knows the people in Calgary more than, you know, anybody when he, you know, gets on the Stampeders or whatever it is. His brand has that ability to reach a lot larger than just Saskatchewan. I think that's what's exciting for me from a business standpoint.
And part of the reason, too, Kelly, that we're sitting here today is I had an opportunity with a radio station in a large market, and two things prevented that from happening. One, my family didn't want to leave, and two, they said, you're going to be starting all over, building your name in this market. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. I've been 30 years on the air in Saskatchewan. Why would I start over? And two, I don't want to leave these people of Saskatchewan. So that's kind of what led to this. There's an opportunity to do. I'm working full-time in addictions and mental health as it is. That's where I feel I'm needed the most. So we're going to try this program, and I expect it's going to work. If it doesn't, we fold up and move on. I know it's going to work. But my point is, we didn't need to do this. I'm not sitting here clinging, hoping, for trying to create a job for myself. There's a void here that these guys approached me to do, and that's why we're sitting here today.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Pats are asking about the online platforms. You go ahead, because I don't know that.
Well, that's the biggest part of this, is that, yeah, I mean, we have the ability to reach at all corners of the internet, and that's something that I feel is really underserved. You see it in the American markets and with the American shows, where they provide the content, they do the shows, but the content lives online, and they really have been aggressive at pushing content. You look at your phones, how you consume content now, whether, you know, it's 2 hours a day, that's a live show, how often are you sitting down and listening to that? You're consuming it on YouTube, and you're consuming it in clips on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook. And that's a big part of what we're doing, is we're gonna be able to serve the fans and the viewers how they consume content. We can tell you that we're gonna do a 2-hour show every day, and we are, and you can watch it. But if you consume content in the morning while you're brushing your teeth, we're going to have it for you. If you consume it while you're having lunch in shorter segments, it'll be there, and that's really exciting. And you're not only going to be able to listen to the comments, you know, read the thoughts from all of the insiders, but you're going to be able to see it and see the reactions in studio. That's one of the things that I've always thought on the radio when we're in the small little studio, is that I wish people could see how much fun we're having on the air. And that's what's going to be cool about this. You're going to actually see it, you're going to live it, and you know what's really important for me from a business standpoint, like Rod is great and we've got the thing, but I mean his Rolodex, that's really where the value is in this show for me.
I should mention, this is key, and Darren's going to need to handle this. We're starting on Facebook Live. I'd like to see it go to Twitter. I'd like it to see it go to television. We're already talking with the TV network about carrying it, but you should mention the Facebook Live broadcast from Facebook with Justin and Greg.
Yeah, that's really exciting too, and that's something that's just been, you know, a development over the last number of days. Even is we have technology that's been given to us directly from Facebook through our friends Justin and Greg, who have been instrumental in this community. But the technology that we have to be able to stream straight to Facebook at high quality, and
HD.
also to be able to integrate, you know, your comments right from the Facebook platform onto the screen. So not only will you be able to comment in on the show, whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, but if you're in that Facebook community, we're going to actually be able to share your comments, discuss, and go. And there are only 3 people that we know of in North America that have access to this technology.
It's called a Wowza, and it's Major League Baseball, Fox Sports, and us. And we got it through Justin and Greg's affiliation with Facebook, but Justin and Greg are going to work with us, and everybody knows who they are. So again, we're going to be pumping out of IKS Studio live to Facebook through this Wowza box, and the only other 2 companies are Major League Baseball and Fox Sports doing that. That's pretty big.
Darren, we got a couple questions from Facebook.
Sure.
Questions from Facebook.
Amanda from Facebook asks, Rob, what's it like collaborating with Darren Dumont, and how do you feel that the 2 of you play off each other?
It's a great question, and I'll tell you why. Nobody would believe that I'm a humble person, but for Darren to come to me and say, we're doing this logo, we're doing a news conference, we're going big, I'm like, why would anybody want to work on a show with my name on it or my photo on it? He's like, no, we're doing it. So I just don't understand a bit of the euphoria around this. IKS Media, I said to these guys the other day at a meeting, I said at the end of it, because there's a team, there's an army here behind this show, and I stood up and I said, guys, I just appreciate that you believe enough in me to put your efforts behind a show with my name on it. And these guys were all here. They just said, just shut up. And they walked away. Like, it's not a big deal to them. It's a big deal to me to have them believe in me. And Darren's the guy, this whole idea was his idea, not mine.
We got another question from Facebook. This one's kind of from 2 people, Lauren and Chris. They kind of had the same question. Will this show be going on the road, or will it be live location at any given time?
Will it be going on location, Facebook viewers? I want it to. As a matter of fact, I see the travel company, Terry here, Vision Travel in the back, where we're talking about doing a show. The difference between my old show on radio going on location is we will be on location live.
I was on that trip last year in December. I don't know that it's a good idea to put that on video, some of the stuff that happens on these trips.
Of course it is.
But we're going to. We will be on location, and that's the dream. I mean, yeah, we want to be able to be a part of the community. And I know Rod has such an impact on all of the local communities in this province and across the country. I mean, starting with the addictions and recovery and the mental health stuff, but the dinner circuits, I mean, you know, dinners with Brock Lesnar and every single NHL legend you can imagine that visits those local communities. It's important for us to be there too, and we will. We'll be a part of the fabric of the community in Saskatchewan. That's what's exciting.
Put in a request for us to come live, and I don't think that'll be a problem. As a matter of fact, Paul said, literally, if there's internet, we can do it. But I know over the years with the past sports trips that we've done, because I've got friends all over North America that have played with the Rough Riders or through hockey, for instance, we're talking about going to Dallas, so on a sports trip. So I know that when we go to Dallas, I can call up Reggie Hunt and say, would you come down and do an hour with us and spend time with all the people on this trip and do an hour with Reggie Hunt sitting at a table with us? I'm pretty sure people would think that's cool. So, or Paul Jokas, who's in Dallas, former Regina Pat. Well, he wasn't a great, but he would show up and join us. So, yeah, we're going to take it on the road. I'd love it to go to Estevan if it was game 2 of the conference semifinals, take it to Humboldt. The beautiful thing about in 2019 is the technology of being able to do this. So, yeah, and thanks to the people at Facebook and Justin and Greg, they've made it very easy for us to be able to do that. One more from Facebook, yeah. From Blake on Facebook, if I don't have to bite my tongue anymore. Obviously, in my past role, I felt the need and the onus to defend the Rough Riders, and in the last 5 months, I haven't had the onus to do that, but I'm still a Rough Rider fan, and I'm still count myself as a good longtime friend of Jeremy O'Day and Craig Dickinson, so I'm still pulling for them to win. However, what I think people discount is that I've got friends on every single team across the CFL, and in media across the CFL, so I know a lot of what's going on in the CFL, and that's come through in the blogs that I write, and it will come through in this show. One of the things I've been called in the past is uncontrollable and unpredictable. Very true. That's what made the Sports Cage so popular, was that nobody knew the next word out of my mouth, because I don't know the next word out of my mouth. That's the truth. Now I don't really need to bite my lip anymore, but I'm not here to make the Rough Riders look bad because I'm not with them anymore. I'm still a Rider fan, but I'm going to say what I think. A lot of people don't like what I think. I'm not for everybody. That's fine. But one thing I've learned from the last 5 months is people really like, I guess, for whatever reason, listening to me on the air or seeing me on TV. And I was standing on the floor at the Rush game, whomever they were playing was their last regular season game, and I'm addressing the crowd. There's 15,000 people there, and it dawned on me. I'm like, I don't belong to the Rough Riders. I don't belong to CKRM. I belong to Saskatchewan, and that's why I want that to come out in this show. Basically, this is a show for Saskatchewan sports fans, and if the rest of the country or the world wants to peer in on what we're talking about, they're more than welcome to do that. But that's what this show is going to be more about. If people want to talk 98% Riders, I can do that. If you want to talk about the NLL or the Red Sox or whatever, so whatever the viewers want. Hopefully that answers your question, Blake. I'm going to say what I want to say for the first time in a long time.
That's it. Awesome.
Anybody else?
Well, we want to thank everybody for coming out today, for all our viewers on Facebook Live. I think that's really exciting. And we really hope you'll tune in our first show on Monday morning.
10 o'clock. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank our friends, Todd Ripplinger here, Larry Mueller, Phil from the Pats, Kelly, all our friends that showed up and believe in this. And yeah, we'll see you Monday at 10. Thanks for coming out. That was good.
Nice. Good job.
Strike up the band.